This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. If you love our Wealth Wednesday financial segments, then you're going to love our Money Mondays with Foster Financial. And joining me is their Vice President, Caleb Doane, to share some holistic financial advice specifically for women. Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going great, thanks.
Good. Okay, so we're changing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Providing some Money Mondays specifically for women. So let's start off. Share with me why it is important to have these topics catered to females.
Yeah, so I mean, the vast majority of financial education out there is targeted towards men, when in reality, women play a huge role in their family's finances.
Yes.
And so I thought it'd be helpful to kind of do a series where we talk specifically to them.
Yes, I love that. So thank you.
Yeah.
And so what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, today I wanted to talk a little bit about life insurance. And so, you know, we're holistic financial advisors, and so that means we kind of take an overarching look at people's finances, and there are many different aspects that play into somebody's financial picture.
Okay.
And so there's, you know, the investment side, there's the tax side, the legal side, and then the insurance side. And so I kind of wanted to focus on that piece. And I think it's one that maybe gets overlooked a little bit because a lot of times people don't like to think about, you know, the worst case scenario where life insurance would come into play. And so today I wanted to talk specifically about term life insurance.
Okay, so let's start from the jump. So just in case someone may not know what life insurance really is and how it is beneficial to them or their loved ones, can you share more?
Yeah, life insurance typically pays out a benefit when somebody passes away to the beneficiaries on the policy. And so term life insurance is usually the most simple one and the most affordable one for people as well. And how that one works is there's a term associated with it, a length of time. And so it might be a 15-year term life insurance policy for $100,000. And all that means is that if somebody were to pass away within that 15 years, $100,000 would get paid out to their beneficiaries. And so it's a pretty, you know, simple type of policy, relatively affordable, and it's probably one of the most necessary ones for people to have.
Okay, and is a benefit, what I understand with the long-term insurance is the fact that you keep your rate, right? So it's a fixed rate.
That's exactly right.
Each year, okay, or each month.
Yeah, if you lock it in for 15 years, let's say, you're going to pay that same monthly rate for the entire 15 years. That's typically what they call level term or level premium. And so there's a lot of reasons to have these types of policies. Kind of focusing on women, I wanted to mention how it's really important for them to have life insurance policies on their husbands or their spouses oftentimes. Typically both spouses need some life insurance on them. But a lot of times, you know, husbands, let's say, will have a little bit of life insurance through work, maybe 2 times their salary or something like that. If they make $50,000 a year, they'll have a $100,000 life insurance policy through work. But usually that's not quite enough to cover the needs there.
Right.
And so it can be helpful to get term insurance outside of that.
Yeah, and that's important to know that people can actually have multiple policies. And so is there a max amount that you could put on, that you can hold a policy for?
Typically, a good rule of thumb for the amount of insurance to have is around 10 times your income.
Okay.
And then the length of time, there's policies that range. Typically, term insurance, you know, the longest term policy you'd get would be maybe 30 years or something like that. But that's kind of typically the range you see there. And really the rationale behind getting a term policy, there's a few. One of them is income replacement.
Okay.
So, you know, if there's a husband and wife, maybe both of them work. If the husband were to pass away, of course, the wife would no longer have his income to use on their typical expenses. And so having sort of a lump sum benefit there is able to help out with those expenses. The other piece is debt obligations. You know, maybe both the husband and the wife were making payments towards their mortgage, car payment, home equity line of credit, whatever it might be. And so if he passes away, you know, there's a lump sum of money that can be applied toward that.
Yeah, and so typically when you are advising and people are trying to understand which term they should go with, is it true that the longer term is better because as you age, your policy will go up because there's a greater chance of being deceased? Is that correct?
So yeah, if you were to take out a policy, like a brand new policy when you're 20 versus when you're 50, it would certainly be a lot more expensive when you're 50.
Yes.
Just because the insurance company looks at you and says, hey, there is a higher likelihood that you will pass away in the next 20 years than it was when you were 20. And so it can be a great time when you're young to take a policy out and lock it in for a longer period of time. And sometimes, I'd say most of the time, we see the scenario where as you get closer to retirement, sometimes your need for life insurance will decrease as you get older. Because maybe you have a nest egg built up. If a husband were to pass away, the wife would have enough in her savings to cover her.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young, maybe you have kids that are still in the home. It's a great time to take a look at it.
Yeah, you could probably have paid off your home and your debt, and expenses have gone down, so you reduce the policy. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Caleb, as always, for sharing really important information.
Yeah, sure thing.
And Foster Financial is here to help women plan for retirement. So if you have any questions, you can contact them by scheduling a complimentary consultation. We'll be sure to have their phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.